What is up, YouTube fam? It's your favorite unapologetic lesbian, back with another one. And we've got another Ryan Upchurch video. The title is R. Edwards of Emerald with a green heart. This one, I have no idea. I have no idea. Maybe a family member, like an ancestor of his. I don't know. I really don't. So let's get into this and find out what R. Edward of Emerald is.
You know how they're taking people off the internet right now? And those people that they're taking off the internet are saying some very crazy things, right? Then after they're taken off the internet, the people that take them off the internet, still after they're gone, they try to convince you, even though they're not there anymore, they try to convince you, they're crazy, they're crazy. Well, if they're crazy, why didn't you just leave them there so everyone could see they're crazy? If they're crazy, that would solidify you saying they're crazy. And you wouldn't have to say anything. You could just let them be crazy. That ain't the case. But while this quote-unquote crazy person is on the internet, they say a lot of stuff, right? Almost too much. It's like they're exploding with stuff to say. And then when they're gone off the internet, way later on you find out half the shit they said was true. Half the shit they said was true. Like, so true it's scary.
It's so true that it's sacred.
I mean, think about it. We have freedom of speech, but they don't have the freedom to noise and language. Well, noise, language, and speech are one and the same, right? Okay, well, what's the purpose in splitting it down the middle and making it two things? Taking it from uni, which is one, to bi, which is two. Well, to unify people is to bring people together and be on the same page. But there's some sort of reason they make us say bye to them. Peace out. Literally, peace out. Whoever's doing this doesn't want peace for us. They want a piece of us to be missing from the equation. Well, how would you do that? You take a piece out, and then you hide that piece so good that no one ever knew it existed. So you think the whole that is not wholesome is whole, when actually it's still missing a piece. Which is why they say, well, we gotta pick up all the pieces and put it back together. It's called a puzzle. No, there's only one piece missing for unification, not multiple. But if you're walking around thinking there's multiple pieces missing, well then you're what? You're puzzled. And why do you become puzzled? Because you're stepping over the one piece that matters, looking for a bunch of non-existent pieces. Then when you overlook the one and only piece that exists and matters, because you can't find all these other pieces that don't exist, you give up on putting the puzzle back together to be unpuzzled. Which is why you still can't read the pyramids. Now look, we're going to take a literal moment of silence because too much is too fast. And you got to give yourself a second to relax. I'm going to play a sound, a megahertz, that is designed to clear your mind of stress. Just listen to it for a few seconds. Alright, so before we get started again, don't ignore the fact that this feels like a second video now, even though it's the same video. Yeah. But before we go any further, I have to tell you something. And some things don't have to be explained. Some things are just, they just are. Recently, I started thinking different. And it was only after a series of things happened. And those things were, okay, so not in Tennessee, elsewhere, I came across two objects that I became infatuated with. I lost those objects for a couple months. And one day, they randomly popped back up in the weirdest places. Those two things being this Roman coin.
That's cool.
And this little emerald heart. And even if I lose them, they show back up.
I think you've shown that emerald heart before in one of your, I think it was a video that you did in a box. It was with a box of stuff that fans have gave you, like gifts from fans over the years. And I think maybe, my memory may be wrong, but I think I've seen that heart before.
And when they popped back up, I was like, oh, damn. I was excited because I've been looking for these things. Well, I walk out to my office. When I get to my office, there's this book on my desk. And I was like, dang, that looks like an important book. Like, whose is this? Like, so I put it up for a couple days. Well, then I started reading it. Then I was like, okay, I gotta find out whose book this is. This is a very important book. Here it is. This book is called a handy. And once you read the book, you realize that the word handy that's on the front, you can barely see it. What do you know? It teaches you that the word handy is actually the wise hand. How you decode that is on the front of the book. It says church-centered recreation. Well, when you recycle something, it's one thing that's being broken down and used for another reason. So I thought to myself, what is the reason of this recreation of the church committee, right? Well then, once I had found the coin and the emerald heart, and then this popped up, it has 4 rings on it, not 3. We have 3 ring binders, right? This has 4. It's a lot smarter, I must say, for 1927. By the way, this book's not for sale on the internet. I've already looked. Only remanufactured versions that are younger than this one. So, after those 3 things pop up, I read this for a little bit. Something that I had not seen since I was 11 popped up. My Holy Bible. It has the name Roundup Church on it in gold. Recreation of the Church Committee. Ryan Upchurch's Holy Bible. So you can go either way. You can read this book first and then this one, or this one first and then this one. What does that look like? Recycling from front to back, from back to front. What do they say? Don't judge a book by its cover. No, you should judge a book by its cover. This book makes you knowledgeable that only half of this book is true. You know why? It's holy. It has holes poked in it, so you don't understand all the words. Now imagine trying to read this book after you jab a bunch of holes in it. Well, then you're not going to be able to read it. Only half of what's there is going to make sense, because the other half is not there. Just like the puzzle piece you can't find. Now, what has everybody been in search of for thousands and thousands and thousands of years? The secrets of what? Where our existence is. The universe. Okay? Well, if you know this, universe means what? One script. One script. Okay? Well, there's no such thing as a biverse, right? So skip that one. Is there a third one lingering around right now in our universe? Well, of course. It's called the multiverse. Now, what would go in the middle of uni and multi? Bible. Well, what if they made numerous of in different forms and different kinds and different places and different religions? Religions. They've made multiple versions of scripture. That's why you got so many different icons and all these different characters, when really, none of them are real. You know why? Because God is within you. You are God. You are. You ever hear him say the spirit molecule? Yeah, the spirit molecule is real. It's in your DNA. Your DNA is infinite. This language, this internal language is infinite, which is why it always resurfaces. So this is the illustration of DNA, 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 DNA. Well, then on the flip side, you know that it's infinite because it comes back again and again and again and again and again and again. Now, do you really need all this DNA molecule stuff to understand that? No. Let's draw a DNA strand in a single molecule form, a uni-molecule or spirit molecule, or hieroglyph. It resembles a twisted stairway, right? So if you're walking a stairway to heaven and the stairway is twisted, you're actually walking the wrong direction. Sounds a little sideways, right? Well, if you were walking the path to heaven that was twisted backwards and it was a sideways illustration, then that would be the gate. Has nothing to do with DNA, like the scientific term DNA. It's an illustration. So if you're really determined to get to heaven and the staircase is twisted, you'd be walking up and then back down, walking up and then back down, walking up and then back down, recycling. And when you walk up and you actually end back down on ground level, you're getting frustrated because you're back on ground level. But you shouldn't be, because you're supposed to stay grounded in current time, like an electrical current, grounded. And you get angry on ground level because you cannot reach this non-existent door. Let me ask you something. You ever hear the phrase heaven on earth? We're living in heaven right now. You ever heard the phrase follow your heart? Well, when someone's like, oh man, that guy's got such a big heart, they're so grounded on earth. Now watch this. A ear to hear the art of heart, for me and for you. And what is for me and for you? 4 plus 4. Infinite happiness. 8. Same as the infinity symbol. And how do we get to this point? Wow. Each side has to put 2 and 2 together. And once we put 2 and 2 together, we also have to cancel out all the bad stuff. 2 minus 2. So now look at the 2's as an individual person helping an individual person on both sides of the spectrum. Hence the old term spectacles. Same thing as a hieroglyph. If you put on your spectacles, you can see clearly. Putting 2 and 2 together. On the other side of the fence, putting 2 and 2 together. That's 4 eyeballs, 2 people, literally figuring the bad out of their life, which ends in enlightenment on both sides. 2 halos. If you put the 2 halos together, well, then you're clearly seeing eye to eye. And you know what this means, right? There's a lie floating around deceiving people. And what would that lie be? That lie would be opening your third eye. If you're not seeing eye to eye with someone else, and you are one less eyeball, 3 eyes. You're in your own room. And by being in your own room, I mean like being in your own head. Deceiving yourself and thinking something that is not true, which means you are not seeing clearly, which is why they depict it as, oh man, if you have the third eye, you see so clear. No, you don't. You don't see clear at all. A fool doesn't realize that he's not fooling everyone else as much as he's fooling his own self. Anybody that wants to argue that, all right, go find me a pair of glasses with 3 lenses. That is a egotistical person that thinks they're smarter than everyone else. When they're not, because there's not glasses with 3 lenses. There's only glasses with 2. If you think you have the third eye, well, then you're just inside your own head, thinking you have this one third eye. Which is why the depiction of one of the dumbest creature is what? A cyclops. Something that has 1 eye. Because if you have 3 eyes and you cover your regular eyes, Where's your other one that can see? It can't. In this day and age, if somebody is spewing a bunch of nonsense about something and you're trying to tell them about it, even with their eyes open, talking to you, what do? You say, dude, are you blind or something? It means you're blind. Four eyes! That being said, this is the last thing we'll talk about today, but before we get on to pyramids, this is why the diagram looks kind of like the Sphinx. Well, this is supposed to be something that nobody knows. What's missing from the Sphinx? What's missing from the Sphinx? Its nose. What's beside the Sphinx? A pyramid. Alright, so a pyramid. Here is one side of a pyramid. Here is the overhead view of a pyramid. Now, here's the thing about a pyramid. You don't have to go inside the pyramid to understand it. You have to stand outside the pyramid and look at it. If you don't understand what the outside means, there is no point in walking in. Now, if you look at the word pyramid, if you look at it and you sound it out to yourself, pyramid, this is what you have. You have this. First off, by looking at it, you have pi, the diagram for 3.14. Literal pi. Then, if you sound it out, you have peer. Peer, as in looking at something or focusing on something. You're peering at something. Then the definition of amid, which is in the middle. In the middle of what? Not the middle of the pyramid. In the middle of your consciousness, your brain, your soul. You are peering amid of the center of yourself. How do you figure this out? By your brain functioning in a different dimension. Like the literal definition of a dimension. Kind of like a carpenter. Here's how. You have to try to see it at a different angle. Here's your 1, 2, 3. 3. And you have the point. You have one base at the very bottom underneath this, like what it's sitting on, the foundation. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. There's your 3.14. Pyramid. We already know this took 2 great minds to come up with this. I bet they had really good ideas. Blink. Oh wait, no, they didn't have light bulbs back then. Oh, they had thunderbolts though. 2 thunderbolts. But hey, the ancient spirits covered up. How? Well, there's another guy that come along with 2 lightning bolts. And then the one guy said to the other, hey, Zeus came with 2 lightning bolts? Yeah, you good? Let me guess, you did not see that. I'll leave you on this. It's an X, isn't it? It is. I want you to remember this. X marks the spot. What spot? I don't know. I'm just saying there's a lot of things that people try to explain that shouldn't have to be explained. See you later, alligator.
Church took us to school. I learned some stuff watching that. I'm gonna have to go do my own research. Now, the third eye, I don't necessarily believe him on that. I'm gonna have to look into that. 'Cause I mean, I've seen pictures of, not actual glasses, but sunglasses. I've seen pictures of sunglasses with the third eye, and I've actually seen them in stores too. In Myrtle Beach, dirty Myrtle. So I'm gonna have to look into that one. Most definitely. See, and when it comes to the one thing that we're missing, that piece, I'm gonna have to look into that to give my own opinion on it. But I do know, like, you can dislike something to unify people. That's what I'm talking about right now. We can all dislike certain things. We can all dislike people. We can dislike music. We can dislike all sorts of things, but still be kind to one another. We don't have to sit here and call people out of names, talk trash on people, talk crap about people. Even if you don't like somebody, or you don't like somebody's opinion, or you don't like the way they think, or the way they dress, or the way they talk, you can still be kind. Even if you don't like the person, or the thing, or the music. In my opinion, it takes a lot less energy to be kind and spread love than it does to be mean, evil, and spread hatred. It takes more energy to do that. Because it costs nothing to send a prayer. It costs nothing to say a couple of words of kindness. And then move on with your life. Just my opinion. But I'm definitely about to go do some research into all that and do my own little studying. Well, thank you for making my brain work. Sick. Church. Much love. But if you guys like this reaction, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. See